It's gift-giving season, so we will go over my annual list of the best gifts to give. And usually my annual list includes the gifts that you should be giving me.
Right.
So just think about that as you're thinking about these today, because, you know, the guru of geek needs more tech. I mean, there's no doubt about that. So, plus we'll be going over the latest on IoT security. That is the Internet of Things, meaning everything from your connected toaster to your refrigerator to all kinds of stuff. So there's been some security issues with that. And of course, the Tesla. Elon Musk had a big announcement over the last week. Actually had a couple of them. But we'll be going over the semi-truck, his new semi-truck. In studio, Rockin' Dave Blair.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It's fun to actually be able to co-host this with the Guru of Geek.
We're not usually in studio together.
No,
anymore,
we're not.
So
I'm excited. But yeah, we've got a lot coming up this week with Thanksgiving, and now everybody's got to be thinking about, hey, that perfect gift that we're going to give somebody.
Yeah,
I already gave you your gift. You know that.
I have socks from you.
Yes. So
I'm not wearing them today.
The Guru of Geeks got some really geeky socks.
They feel good too, by the way. I like those socks you gave me. And of course, at the control panel, Jim Walsh. How you doing, man?
Not too shabby.
Yeah, enjoy the weekend too.
Another low key weekend.
Yeah,
can't complain.
Yep. So here we are. It's Monday. And actually a short week this week, so that's kind of... I'm actually looking forward to the short week. I usually don't, but it must be because I am older, maybe more set in my ways. Maybe I just enjoy time off now. I don't know. It just I just couldn't get into having all that extra time off in the past.
Thursday I'm staying home.
Yeah, nice.
Well, Thanksgiving, it's my favorite holiday.
Is it?
It really is. I was telling somebody today, I'm preparing myself for Thursday, where I'm going to eat a lot and then sleep a lot and then eat a lot again. Because the best thing about Thanksgiving is leftovers.
Yes, exactly.
They talk about that. 75% of the people say that Thanksgiving is one of their favorite holidays, and it's because of the leftovers.
Right. So, and speaking of Thanksgiving and cooking turkey, by the way. So, in today's world, I don't know, you and I are about the same age, Dave. And,
right.
And when we were younger, going out to eat was a treat, wasn't it?
Oh, for sure.
It was a huge treat because, it was. I mean, it was just something that maybe you got to do once a month maybe or something. Now it's exactly the opposite, where, getting a home cooked meal a lot of times is a treat because we all go out to eat so often. So the expertise, I guess you could say, or the ability to know how to cook a turkey is probably not as our younger generation probably just doesn't understand how to cook a turkey anymore. I don't know. I'm just saying, right? I mean, most of them will take an attempt, but that's the cool thing about technology, right? We have all kinds. There's recipes galore online.
Oh yeah.
You can call up Butterball.
Well, there's their
directly.
Butterball hotline that they have. So how do you prepare?
Well, they have an online chat version now too, so you can go on there and chat with them there, and so that's what's wonderful about technology in that regard, is that if you need some help, to get your turkey ready, you have all kinds of help out there.
I remember the first Thanksgiving that me and my wife hosted for our family, because we thought, hey, this is going to be really cool. We always went over either to my mom and dad's or to her mom and dad's. So we had our first Thanksgiving. We invited everybody over, and I remember making stuffing. Okay, and I was going at it and that kind of stuff, and I was right next to the sink that had some dirty dishwash water in it, and the dressing, the whole bowl fell into this. So what do you do, man? I mean, I can't go out and get dressing, so I hurried up and rinsed it all off and stuffed it into turkey, and didn't tell anybody about it, obviously, and they commented how moist that dressing was.
Jim, you and I are never eating at Dave's
place.
No,
I wouldn't. You don't know where that dressing's been.
That's funny. So my mother, when she got her first microwave oven, now she's a late adapter to technology.
Okay.
Her son is an early adapter. She's a very late adapter. They finally just got a cell phone here in the last couple of years.
Wow.
So no computer yet, though. They do not have a computer in their house. So anyway, she got this microwave, and she decided that, I love this new technology. I'm going to cook the entire Thanksgiving meal in this microwave.
She must have a big microwave. Must be a big one.
I think we normally eat about 2:00 in the afternoon, and it was not done at 7. So she didn't understand that you just can't put the whole turkey in there, and and she was trying to cook it part at a time, and it took a little while. So she was extremely frustrated by that, of course. But that's just how it goes. We have
Hey,
great
Guru of
Thanksgiving
Geek, I got a question for
Yes,
you.
sir.
You know who came up with Thanksgiving Day officially?
So I believe it's FDR.
Nope. Way before that.
Well, so are you talking in the United States?
Yeah, in the United States.
So there's,
The official holiday.
So the Thanksgiving was kind of a controversial thing for many years, and it took a president that finally made it on a Thursday, because it was like celebrated in states all across our country at different times and everything else. So, all right, so who was the president? Tell me the...
Abraham Lincoln.
Really?
1863.
I thought it was later than that.
Nope.
Okay.
And then what was really interesting, and they had to keep, after Lincoln, all the presidents had to decide, hey, are we going to have an official day? But Lincoln was the first one to adopt it. And actually, it was because of this writer, her name was Sarah Hale, who had her fame was Mary Had a Little Lamb. She's the one that kind of kept things going.
She kept pushing for the day.
Exactly.
I remember. I know that story.
Exactly.
So Abraham Lincoln's the first one of the president, but it wasn't actually an official holiday. I mean, he would have to declare it annually, right? And all the presidents behind him, and then finally became a federal holiday. And I think it's FDR, but we'll look that up on the break.
Yeah,
actually.
we need to do that.
There was one. I mean, one of the presidents finally said, "This is enough. I'm not doing this annual anymore. This is a federal holiday." So that's the kind of the deal on that. So anyway, so I'm looking over the IoT security stuff. So the Amazon Echo, we talk about that a lot, right?
Yep.
And we won't get into the security stuff right now. I just want you to. We'll get into that after the break, but. This is amazing to me. So last year, for those of you who don't know what an Echo is, you talk into this device. It looks like, Dave's got a water bottle here. So it's about the size of that water bottle and a little wider, I guess, for the bigger one, the Alexa version that we call it. And then there's the small ones that look like a little hockey puck, actually.
Yeah.
And you talk to them. You say, Alexa, what's the temperature outside? Alexa, play some 80s music. Alexa, what's the distance between Bismarck to Fargo, North Dakota?
Right.
Alexa, what's the latest news? I mean, it'll tell you the stuff. It'll control your lights in your house. It'll do all kinds of stuff, right? So last year, there was 5 million of these devices. So in 2016, right? It has now gone to 27 million of these devices. The installed base grew 7 million from 20 million to 27 million.
Wow.
Just in the most recent quarter. So 7 million of these things were sold in the most recent quarter. And we'll talk about the difference between Google Home and Amazon Echo and all that stuff after the break. And we'll also be talking about security on these and why it's so important to make sure you have security on this stuff. So come on back, everybody.
Currently 44.
The Red River Farm Network. Ag News is here on SuperTalk 1270.
Follow the Guru of Geek at Facebook.com/The Tech Ranch or Twitter at Guru of Geek or TheTechRanch.com. Here again is your Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson.
And we want to thank everybody who follows us around the country and across the world on the Blueberry Network, on the Tech Podcast Network. If it's Tech, it's here. We're on Tuned In. We are on the Roku. We're on iTunes. We're on Apple TV. And, of course, our own app, Radio Pop. All kinds of places that you can catch the show live, or if you want to rerun it later to catch all the great information we have on here. So the debate, we were just trying to figure this out about Thanksgiving. And
so
thank
we're
goodness,
both right.
We're both right, yeah. So Abraham Lincoln declared it with the persistence of Sarah Hale, who is commonly known as a person who wrote Mary Had a Little Lamb back in 1863, right?
Yep.
So he declared the final Thursday of November. So it was FDR then who in 1939 stated that they moved it to the 4th Thursday of November.
I knew that.
So, yes, you did.
I was
teaser.
there.
And I'm guessing that set the precursor up for Black Friday. Not that it was called that back then, but that kind of set. And I would be willing to bet. It would be interesting to see if there was a lobby afoot at the time for FDR that said, hey, if we make it the 4th Thursday, then we'll get a couple extra days in for Christmas shopping. I mean, it would be interesting to see what the thinking was behind that at the time. So,
well, I'm sure that there was always about holidays is like when do they occur? So Christmas, we know. Falls on the 25th.
Right.
Sometimes it's in the middle of the week, which everybody hates.
Right.
That's
just how it works.
It's just how it works. It's always nice to either have it on a Friday or a Monday.
Yep.
Then you might get a 3-day weekend. But
and that's probably why, like yourself included, probably like Thanksgiving the most because it is a consistent holiday, right?
Yep.
You're probably going to get 4 days that you can go, and this is why it's the biggest travel weekend of the year as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
So interesting. So anyway, we were just talking before the break about IoT's Internet of Things. So the Internet of Things. So to give you an idea, about right now there are about 5 billion, and that's probably closer to 7 billion now since I looked this up. But earlier this year it was 5 billion devices connected to the Internet across the world. So and most of that is computers, tablets, cell phones, that type of thing, right? So by the year 2020, they expect that to explode to 20 billion devices. And it's not that we're going to have a lot more computers and cell phones, although there'll be an increase in some of those. Well, that'll be interesting too, actually, because more and more people are moving to tablets and that type of thing away from actual full-blown computers. But the explosion is in the Internet of Things. So things like the Amazon Echo, Google Home, your thermostat, your refrigerator, and even your toaster, and even your water faucet, and your doorbell, and all of these things are being connected to the Internet now. And it sounds crazy. I mean, why would you connect your toaster to the Internet, right? Or why would you connect your doorbell to the Internet? But there are things like, if it's connected to the Internet, you can have a camera on it, so then you can see on your smart device who's at the door. So that's a way to feel more secure because you know who that is, and you can answer your door if you're on vacation, which is kind of cool. So if it's something that you don't want, because over 90% of burglars, I don't know if you knew this or not, ring the doorbell first or knock on the door to see if anybody's home. So if they don't know if you're there or not.
Well, I think about
in,
the classic movie Home Alone, where
right.
the burglars are coming, and they think that the people are gone, right? And they walk up and the lights come on,
exactly.
And then they turn on all the lights the kid did. But now you can do that.
Yep. And all you have to do is just cast a little bit of a doubt, and that burglar will go on to a more easy target,
Yeah.
So that's what you're kind of doing with that stuff. But anyway, the problem is that there is not a lot of security on these devices. So it's easy for hackers to get into them because most people just take them out of the box and put them up on the wall, and they don't change the username and password on these things. So, and there's actually websites dedicated to finding devices that are connected to the Internet that are using default username and passwords that you can easily access. It's just on the web now. So if you have like a webcam or a camera in your house, like a security cam, or in your business that's using the default username and password, odds are that people are able to actually look at what's going on in your house or in your business now. It's just easy. It's absolutely easy to do this. So the first thing you need to do is change the username and passwords on those devices, But what happens is that there's security vulnerabilities, and the last. So Netflix, when it went down a couple months ago, it was down for a couple hours, and I'm sure the world came to a stop for a lot of people, probably including myself that day, because you couldn't get on there. It was because of a denial, DDoS, a denial of service attack, okay? And it didn't come from computers. It came from devices. Somebody had hacked into baby cameras or baby monitors and the security cams, whatever, and they all have computer chips in them. And it wasn't that, one or two would make no difference, right? But they were actually able to accumulate over 10 million devices and then went after Netflix and just continued to bombard them with basically they're pinging them nonstop, and then the server has to respond to that. And because there's so much activity, the server can't handle all of it. So then there's a service issue that goes on with that. That's how it works. So it gets overrun with requests, and it all came from everything but computers. So you have to be a little concerned about this, because if we're going to have 15 billion devices in the near future that are the Internet of Things and there's no security on that, what does that do for our connectivity to things that you won't be able to shop on Amazon, and you won't be able to stream Netflix if people go after these things. So the hackers do. So
interesting, and this might be getting off the subject a little bit, but a lot of it has to do when we're talking about cameras, and how the police use cameras. If there's a burglary, and go back and look and see where that camera is,
right.
They can look at the footage and that kind of stuff. There's some concerns right now because there's a lot of cameras in schools.
Right.
Okay. So they actually can, if they can hack in, they can actually see somebody on their phone putting in their code or everything like that.
Absolutely.
So now you start getting that whole security of, are cameras good or not so good? And then you have that whole bullying issue too that will be really interesting to talk about at another time too, because it's happening all the time. So those cameras are great, but like you said, if they can get into them and see what's going on in your home, really how safe are you? How secure are you?
So you have to take the time. If you're going to install these devices, please take the time. It's real easy. Just change. Don't make it so that the default username and password is admin and password, or 1234, because that's usually what these things are sent out with. They're sent out with the most basic stuff because they're assuming that you're going to take the time to change them.
Yep.
But a lot of people just install and go. They just do. So you need to change these. If you're concerned about people monitoring your house or your business, you need to change your username and password. I mean, I cannot overemphasize that enough.
Right.
Because I'm not going to say the names of the website because I don't want people who are thinking that they should go to these things now to do this. But I know of websites that you can go to that you can just, and in North Dakota, I'm just giving this an example because we're broadcasting from North Dakota, 1.6 million devices in North Dakota I can access from my computer right now.
Wow.
1.6 million. And as I went through the list, most of them are baby monitors and security cameras.
Yeah.
And that, of course, will explode as more and more of our things like our refrigerators and doorbells and whatever become connected too, right? So you need to take the time to change those username and passwords.
even as something as simple as your garage door opener,
yes,
too.
All of that.
I mean, we all have accessibility except for me. I still have the old-fashioned way. Get out, open it up, go back and close it again. But, we have to be very cognizant of what's going on out there, and that, like Marlo said, that you have to really prepare yourself and make those changes that are necessary to protect yourself.
These devices are wonderful. I mean,
Right.
I have Wi-Fi lights in my house, and some of them have cameras on them.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful to be able to put this stuff up. But if you're going to install it, again, you got to change the username and password, or somebody like Dave or myself are going to come into those things and start looking at what's going on. So
maybe when we come back, I want to talk about Thanksgiving and what's happening with new devices out there as well, and what 2025 could look like with new devices as well.
And of course, we're going to be getting into my top list of gifts to give this holiday season. So you want
and it's not going to be socks, I don't think.
Oh, it might be socks. So come on back, everybody.
Currently 44.
Dave Ramsey is heard here. SuperTalk 1270.
We're back to the Tech Ranch. Stream this program now at supertalk1270.com. Here is your guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
And we're talking a little bit about internet security on the Internet of Things, of course. We're also going to be getting into my top tech picks for holiday gift giving. In studio, producer extraordinaire Jim Walsh, and of course, rockin' Dave Blair.
And the geezer.
Hey, thanks, and the geezer. Thanks for.
You're looking outstanding today, Mr. Geezer.
Yeah, well, I was outstanding in the field an hour ago. Freezing my hoo-hoos off.
That's why he's preserved so well. He hangs around in the frosty climate.
That's
all the
right. He
time.
was around for the first Thanksgiving.
He was.
too.
He was.
right.
The first photograph, the first internet connection, the first telephone call.
Yep.
He's got a lot of firsts in his
I
history,
know.
actually.
He's an amazing
tech
man. He
geezer.
is amazing.
Don't forget deer season. Did you know I shot the first deer
I
ever?
Ever. He's been around and using tech through all of these things. It's just amazing. So you have a look at Thanksgiving 2025. So I'm interested to hear this.
You know what's really interesting, and I'm going to challenge everybody out there. This might be kind of hard, but how about on Thanksgiving you don't use any of your devices? Because one thing about Thanksgiving is supposed to be sharing, right? And just family time and stuff like that. But I don't know if it's at your household, but mine, everybody still has their phone.
Oh, yeah.
And they're all doing this and and they're chatting back and forth with somebody else. Sometimes it could be chatting with somebody across the room, right? And
Absolutely.
not actually talking.
Right.
So anyway, that's going to be my challenge to our family is saying, hey, for 3 hours, you can't use any of your devices.
I'm going to take you up on that challenge.
Okay.
I'm going to take the day off, actually.
ya?
Outside of maybe a little television. I might have to binge watch something or another, or some football or something. But
So hey, what is Thanksgiving going to look like in 2025?
So that's
that's
8 years from now.
years away,
Yes.
right?
Right.
And one of the things, and I think our viewers out there know about some of this technology that's happening right now with Magic Leap and Hulu lenses, so now you could actually be experiencing Thanksgiving with members that are hundreds of miles away.
Right.
Right? So you're having a Thanksgiving dinner and you guys have your goggles on and then you're flashing back and forth and you're eating and having a conversation. Think about how that could just bring the families a little bit closer together. It's not about a telephone call anymore, man. It's about actual reality,
Right.
that 3D look.
And it's not even that far away. I mean, you can put a 360-degree camera right in the middle of your Thanksgiving table, for example.
Yep.
And you can stream that. And the person that's watching on the other side, if they had VR glasses on, they could actually turn around. They could pretend they're in one of the chairs and just have conversation while they're there. So it's pretty amazing.
We can't even imagine what in 1 year, 2 years it's going to look like, let alone 8 years.
Right.
So,
But the ability for people to come together, I agree with you, Dave. I think the ability for people to come together from great distances will never be more enhanced than what it will be, in the very near future.
Yeah.
And it changes everything. It changes everything from conferences to funerals to weddings, family get-togethers, and distance has always been an issue for people, and of course bad weather. You have to think about that too. I mean, if we have weather events going on and you can't get there, I mean, I can't say it's the next best thing because you still want to be there,
right.
But it does give you a viable alternative.
Well, and we've talked about new technologies. The video that we saw a couple weeks ago at Disruptwell of the smart home and what that's going to look like, too.
It's pretty amazing.
It is. It's just I've been showing that to people, and I'm going, hey, we're there, really. I mean, these nanobots that you put into your body, too. I mean, all of that stuff.
All that stuff. And having your personal assistant is a robot that follows you around to make sure you're taking your medication and making your food for you and making sure you're getting to your appointments on time. And pretty amazing stuff.
So what is your wish list look like this year? I've got a couple on my list now, too.
Really?
Mine are pretty easy. But I'm sure that the Guru of Geeks got some really challenging ones out there for his family.
Well,
to
I
meet.
would say that they're challenging, and usually when I do my list, it's basically for everybody. It's not
okay.
something that I'm thinking of just for myself. So, although there's some things on here I wouldn't mind having, so I gotta get through. My paperwork is actually backwards here, so of course. So
while you're doing that, I'm gonna share one thing that I want, and I'm really into lights, and I'm into a lot of the devices that kind of they always had the one where you clap your hands and the lights go on and off.
Yep.
Well, now they have a light out there where I could give you a light, same light as I have, okay, and we connect it to the Wi-Fi. And I can go up there and just put my hand over the light, and it'll sense a color, and then it'll do that at your light as well. So we're saying, hey, Marlo, how you doing today? I'm thinking of you, and I send a pink color out. You get that pink color, and now I just communicated with you.
What do those cost?
$75. Up to $100.
So
kind of cool.
How many of these can you hook up to?
I just started looking at this right now. I think it's just one-on-one, but I need to do a little bit more research. But wouldn't that be really cool that I give one to my grandma, okay? And, I get home and I'm going, Grandma, I'm thinking of you today. I love you. Boom. And the red color comes on.
Right.
Oh, wow, cool.
Right. Yeah, I was, that's amazing you brought that up, because I have been thinking similarly, not to give away business stuff. Many of you know me as the founder of National Day Calendar as well. And we've been looking for a way for the people who follow National Day Calendar to have something in their homes or their businesses. And one of the thoughts we had was that if there would be a way that you could have a color-changing light that would say, because today is peanut butter fudge day, for example, right?
I saw that. Yep.
So maybe you change the color of the light to the color of peanut butter fudge, right?
Yeah.
And then everybody that follows us then would get that. So that's pretty cool. You and I need to talk about
that.
Yeah,
there you go.
I love
It's called long distance touch lamp.
Yeah, I love that. So first one on my list is it's called the BioLite Camp Stove. So this is kind of a crazy device, and I'm showing Dave a picture right now. It basically is a camp stove that uses wood. So you throw some twigs in there, small pieces of wood. There's an orange little device off of that you plug your smart device into, USB output. It changes that heat to electricity and charges your device.
Oh, wow.
At the same time, you can boil water or cook some hot dogs or whatever you want to do on the open flame. Is that pretty crazy?
That is. Now, you can use that inside.
Well, I don't know if
I don't know if I'd want to.
I would use that inside or not. I mean, it is designed for outdoor use.
Yeah.
But it is interesting, and I guess, you're talking about, you talk about this with camping, but this wouldn't be a bad device to have around in case you had a power outage or something too, and you needed a way to charge up some devices or whatever. You could just start a fire.
Yep.
With some twigs and
I wonder what else could it burn charcoal maybe?
I'm not sure. I mean, they talk about wood, but maybe you could put charcoal in it or whatever as well. So, but yeah, you could you could charge up extra chargers while you have the fire going or whatever. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That is. Do they have any price on that?
Yeah, it's $139.
Oh man, that's not too bad.
It's pretty reasonable actually. So, excuse me, $129 for that. So.
Oh, okay.
Of course, next up on my list is the robotic vacuums.
You have one.
I have, oh my goodness.
You have more than one maybe.
So I have a 4-level home.
Okay.
And of course, they haven't figured out how to make them go up and down stairs yet. So I do have to vacuum the stairs occasionally. But I have one on each level of the house now.
Oh, okay.
So I got one for Christmas from our daughter 2 years ago. And I'm like, why? And I actually am one of these people who enjoy vacuuming. I know that sounds crazy, but so I'm like, why are you giving me one of these things? But I have to tell you, after I got one and had it going, I'm like, oh my goodness! I come home every day and the floor is clean, and the grandkids come over now, and I don't even care. If they spill some cereal on the floor or whatever, because I know tomorrow morning. Our little robotic vacuum cleaner is going to come by and sweep all that stuff up. So every morning at 10, if you were at our house, you'd hear all 4 of these things now going, and it's amazing.
Now, do they go into a port to charge up and that kind of stuff? They have a little house?
It's called nesting.
Nesting, yeah.
So they actually go back. It's not really a house. They just you just put it in a place that's kind of out of the way, and it'll go back. As soon as it realizes it needs to go back home, it will do that. So if you have the more advanced ones, and you have a big house, like a single floor house or an office that's bigger, it'll actually go until it's low on power, go back, recharge itself, and then finish the job. But those are more advanced ones. So you'll spend anywhere from $200 to $800 or even more, actually, if you want really, really nice ones out there for these. But I will tell you, I mean, you'll spend... I think we spent $800 on our last vacuum cleaner when I think about it. You know, and the ones we have running around our house right now are probably in that $200 to $250 range.
Yep.
So basically, for the cost of a good vacuum cleaner, we got 4 of these things that are cleaning the house all the time. So I love it. Absolutely love it. So after the break, everybody, we will continue on the list for Christmas gift giving this year. So come on back.
Currently, it's 52.
Here's Sean Hannity, weekday afternoons on SuperTalk 1270.
Follow the Guru of Geek everywhere he goes. Post your comments or questions at thetechranch.com. Once again, your Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson.
And we're continuing with my annual list of gifts to give this holiday season. And we didn't even get into it, but of course last week Dave was guest hosting. Thank you for taking my chair last week there, Mr.
No
Rocky.
problem. We found you, though.
Yeah, you did. You actually did. I was...
Now, where were you last week?
I was in Las Vegas last week.
Oh,
Remember,
Vegas.
I just got off the shuttle that crashed, according to all the national news. That was a great event, by the way. So I got to ride over on the shuttle, and I met Danica Patrick, of course, and
that really was her.
That really was her.
That was not a cardboard cutout.
No, it was not a cardboard cutout.
Well, that was great.
Her.
How was she to talk to?
She was actually very pleasant, and we had a nice conversation.
Wonderful.
And
always liked her.
Yeah. She was surprisingly bashful.
Really?
So I guess that's probably why we got along so well. I guess
you would assume she'd be pretty brash.
Yeah. No, she was, and of course I guess in public places I'm probably kind of the same way. It's taken me 5 years just to get used to being in front of this microphone. So it was interesting, but it was fun to watch the autonomous shuttle. It's the first one of its kind running in the United States, and a couple hours later, it was out. Even after the crash, semi had backed into it.
Well, they've had their issues in Vegas, haven't they?
They have, yes, but fortunately, this was one that was non-event basically.
Yeah.
But, anyway, so it's up and running. So, but thanks everybody for taking over. Next on my list is the drones. So I have the DJI Spark on my list, and it runs $500. It takes 4K video, though, and that's probably the thing I like about it most of all. And it runs off of your smart device. So if you have an iPhone or an Android, you can fly this drone. And for $500, it's got GPS in it and all this other good stuff, all the safety features you'd expect for a higher end drone. So it's not a bad drone.
That sounds really interesting. And Marlo, I don't own a drone yet, so that would be a good gift for me from you.
Yeah. The other thing that's unique about this is it folds up, so it's very compact.
Oh yeah.
And very easy to travel with. So you can get a little backpack and go out in the backcountry and then unleash your drone when you get out there. So it's actually not a bad little drone. And I'll tell you what, for $500, you can't beat the price of that.
Well, I already made a New Year's resolution that I'm going to be learning to fly some drones.
Oh, let's go out sometime then.
Yeah, I would love to do that.
Yeah, let's do that. Next up on my list, and then we're going to go a little quicker because I know that we're running out of time here, so is the Nintendo Switch. So the Switch is a gaming device, much like the Xbox or the PlayStation. Nintendo came out with this earlier this year. It's difficult to get, everybody, so if you see one and you want it, don't think about it. Just get it. You're going to find them. There are some sales on them right now for about $300.
Okay.
I have one of these, and what's great about it is it sits in a console, so that I have it on my home projector so that you can play big screen with this thing, right? And then when you're ready, you can just take it out of its device. It just pops right out, and it's a portable gaming machine at the same time. And you can just pull it out even on the fly and then just start continuing to play the game. So the kids absolutely love this thing because if we say something like we're in the middle of the game, and this happens all the time, hey kids, it's time to go home, or so let's go down and have dinner or whatever, they can pop that thing out of the machine and continue to play right there. So it's pretty cool in that regard, and it's the graphics are amazing with it. So have a lot of fun with that. Next up on my list, and this device I love, absolutely love this. This is called the Garmin Speak. Garmin Speak. So, Dave, you can see here, it's kind of a round device.
Yep.
It attaches to your windshield in your car. So everybody knows that Garmin is great with GPS, right? They're kind of one of the leaders in that GPS realm.
I got a Garmin watch on right now.
Oh, there you go.
That I use when I'm out golfing.
Okay.
It tells you the distance to the hole and everything like that.
That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
So what they've done here is they've teamed up with Amazon Alexa, or the Echo, however you want to say that, right? So it's got Amazon built in, or it's got that built into this, right? So you speak to it. You can say, hey, play me some 80s music, and it'll play some 80s music. You can say, hey, add Dave Blair to my calendar 2 p.m. on Tuesday. It'll do that. But what I love about this, because it's a Garmin, you can say, Alexa, take me to the nearest coffee shop. And it will give you step-by-step instructions to drive you there without having to mess with your phone or GPS unit in your car, trying to figure all that stuff out, right? Or if you know the address, you can say, hey, take me to 123 Main Street in Mandan, North Dakota, and it will direct you there. All you have to do is talk to it. It's amazing, and it's $139.
That's a gift.
It's a gift. This for somebody who you have to sync it to your phone.
Yep.
So you have to have a smartphone so that you can get the internet to it, right? But once you do that, this is for anybody, and I'm thinking of myself included. I hate fumbling with my screens. You know, I don't text when I'm driving at all.
Right.
You know, I almost never make a phone call unless I have it through my system on my car, right? You have the same
Bluetooth,
thing, right? Yeah. So you do that now. So the only reason I ever pick up my phone anymore when I'm driving is for GPS, and it drives me nuts because you're trying to drive and trying to figure this thing out. You know, once you get it going, it's okay, but getting it going is difficult. So this device is fantastic.
I love it.
It really is.
Can I share one thing?
Absolutely.
I got one gift that I would just. This is kind of like, it's probably not a useful gift, but it's really cool. It's a device that allows you to have a floating levitation, so you can put your phone on this and it levitates.
Yeah.
Or your coffee mug. Anything you want. There's certain weight requirements and it's got color codes and that kind of stuff, so you can actually just have this device sitting on your desk, and you can have your coffee cup, you can have your smartphone, you could have your notepad, whatever. It would levitate there.
I'm guessing it's magnetic levitation.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's it's only $59, so it's kind of a cool little gift.
It's certainly a conversational piece. I'm looking at it right now. This person is, it's a small disc on top of a larger squarish type of device, and the disc, I suppose, you just put your stuff on. So this person's got their cell phone standing on it right now. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So what else do you got going on there?
So this one here is the, it's Google's version of VR. It's called Daydream.
Okay.
And I'm sure you've seen the VR goggles, virtual reality goggles, and this kind of takes the shine off of them. It's a matte fabric type of look. It's not so huge on your face. It's a lightweight thing. So if you're looking at VR, I would look at that, and it's $99 for those, so it's not too bad. The new Amazon Echo. So this is pretty, and I know you've seen the other ones, Dave. So this is actually a smaller device and cloth covered, and supposedly has better sound. So I haven't heard it yet.
Okay.
But it also costs less. It costs under $100.
Okay. Wow.
So if you're looking for, so I always call it the Amazon Alexa. It's the bigger one. The Echoes I always think is the little hockey puck ones. Now, I might not be right on that, but that's how I differentiate the two. The Alexa, in my opinion, has the speaker array to it.
Sure. Right.
And they sound amazing. The one I have at my house, I use it all the time.
Was that the one you brought in that one?
Yeah. So, and she's getting smarter all the time.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
Philips Hue. This is if you want Wi-Fi lighting in your home. Why would you want Wi-Fi lighting? Well, there's all kinds of reasons, I guess. I discover more reasons all the time. So if you go to the front of our office building in downtown Mandan now, you'll notice that I have 5 lights under our new awning that we put on the building.
Really nice looking, too.
Yeah, it turned out pretty nice. And those lights, I can change color anytime I want to. Right now, they're rotating between they almost look like Las Vegas lights between green and kind of an orange color, so for the look of Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
And as soon as we get closer to Christmas, I'm going to change those to probably more of a red and green type of look, So I can do that with those. I can. I have a Twitter lamp, so every time somebody mentions me on Twitter or National League Calendar on Twitter, this thing flashes. So you can do crazy stuff with it. You can also do things like when you drive up to your house, your lights come on from a block away.
Okay.
So you can
What does it sense it on your phone?
Yeah, so what it does is you can use what's called IFT, and IFTTT, and you can check that out, IFTTT.com. It means if this, then that. So if I get to these GPS coordinates, then my lights turn on.
Okay.
If I walk into my house, then my stereo turns on. So you can do all these cool things. If somebody mentions me on Twitter, my light will blink. So that's what it does. If this, then that. So my number one thing, you got to get this if you can find it. The Super Nintendo Entertainment System, the original one, is back, preloaded with 20 games, including Donkey Kong and Super Mario. It is $79 if you can find this, and it plugs into a new TV. It is the hottest thing going this year, Super Nintendo Entertainment System. That's it, everybody. Have a great week. Dave, thanks.
Hey,
Jim, thanks.
Great. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
All right.